Good morning and welcome to Chess League. The king is by far the most important piece in chess. You should always protect your king, and you can never ever sacrifice or give up your king. The strongest piece in chess is, however, the queen. In most cases, you need to protect your queen as much as you can. In some instances, however, in order to win or to achieve significant advantage, you can and sometimes you should sacrifice your queen. Today I have decided to show you a game where black decided to sacrifice the king in return of a checkmating attack. The game was played in 1862. It was played between Rosanes and Anderssen. I believe that at that time Anderssen was probably the strongest player in the world. Okay, let's have a look what happened in the game. White played e4, followed by e5, and the second move, of course, is f4, King's Gambit. That was by far the most popular opening in the 19th century. Now, usually black played here e takes f4, and then white played knight to f3, followed by bishop c4. In this particular game, however, black decided to play pawn to d5, rejecting the pawn sacrifice and offering d5 pawn as a sacrifice in return. White played e takes d5, black played e4. Now these days the most popular move here would have been knight to c3 and then d3, trying to get the e4 pawn. In the game, however, white decided to play bishop to b5 check. That's not the best move because after simply c6, d takes c6, and now knight takes c6, white simply put black's knight onto a c6 position, which is good enough for black. White played knight to c3, developing the pieces. Black played knight to f6. Now in this position it's very clear that black started having advantage in development, and clearly the next move for black could be bishop to c5, then castle, and black has better developed pieces. So in that position, to prevent bishop to c5 move, white should have played simply d4, covering the c5 square, and then if e takes d3, then queen takes d3, suggesting the trade of the queen. Instead, in this position, white decided to play queen to e2, attacking the e4 pawn. Now, it's never a good idea to win a pawn when all your pieces are undeveloped. And that game showed to us how black managed to quickly gain advantage in this position. Bishop to c5, very logical move, developing the bishop, preparing castling, and also covering this diagonal. White are now unable to castle kingside because of the bishop on c5. Knight takes e4, white decided to win this pawn. Black continued with the development, and now of course bishop on c5 is under attack, but white cannot take the bishop simply because rook to e8 will win the queen. Bishop takes c6, b takes c6, d3, maybe trying to play bishop e3 the next move. Rook to e8, putting the rook onto an open file and attacking the knight on e4. Bishop went to d2, probably preparing castling queenside. Now in this position, the most confident win for black I think, would have been to play bishop to g4. And now definitely white is in trouble, because after, for example, queen to f2, or sorry, after, for example, queen f2 is not possible, because simply bishop will take on f2. So after bishop g4, the only possible move is knight to f3, and then after rook b8 and queen b6, black is going to be attacking b2 pawn, so it will not be possible for white to castle queen side. Another option for black here would have been to take bishop takes g1, rook takes g1, and now to play bishop g4, again attacking the queen on e2 and preventing white from castling queen side. So after, for example, queen goes to e3, black can play something like knight to d5, and then maybe f5, winning the knight on e4. Black decided to take the knight on e4 straight away in the game. D takes e4, bishop f5, attacking the pawn on e4, threatening rook takes e4. White has to go e5. Black played queen to b6. It's a double attack, attacking the pawn on b2 and attacking the knight on g1. White castled queen side, thinking that they are okay in this position. Bishop to d4. Now queen takes b2 is the threat. It's checkmate. So white needs to go c3 to defend b2 pawn. Rook a to b8, again threatening queen takes b2, checkmate. White played b3 in this position, defending from a checkmate. Here black played rook e to d8. I believe again the most obvious and clear win for black here would have been simply queen to a5, with the idea queen to a3 checkmate. And the thing is that there's no proper defense from that, because if white played king to b2, black can simply play bishop to c5, again with the idea queen a3 check, and then rook takes b3. But in the game, black played rook e to d8. Now again, the bishop on d4 is under attack now, but white cannot take it, because if c takes d4, simply queen takes d4, and now there is no defense from queen to a1, checkmate. So in this position, white played knight to f3, developing the knight, and now threatening knight takes d4. And that's the position where black needs to do something really strong and really fast, because at the moment black does have advantage. Their pieces are better positioned. However, white has now developed all of their pieces, and if black doesn't do something really quickly here, then I think that white would have a good chance of equalizing this position. And here it comes. In that position, black sacrificed the queen for a pawn. Queen takes b3, a takes b3, and now simply rook takes b3. And it turns out that there's no proper defense in this position from a simple threat, rook to b1, checkmate. White played here bishop to e1. Now, of course, in this position, if black plays rook to b1 check, then simply king to d2. However, black has a nice move here. Bishop to e3 check, opening up the d file. So if now, for example, queen to e3, then again simply rook b1 checkmate. If now knight to d2, then again rook b1 checkmate. So basically after black played bishop to e3 check, there is no defense from rook b1 checkmate. So here you go. Here's a nice queen sacrifice for your attention. I hope you learned from this game, and sometimes when you have advantage in development and your opponent's king is in danger, please consider the sacrifice of the queen. In some cases it will lead to a win. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.